Hey everyone, Kaz here. I am a newspaper and online comic strip cartoonist and comic book writer. I'm here to talk about what is probably my favorite game to play right now, and that is Genshin Impact. As many of you know, I have been playing this game for over a year already, and I'd just like to talk about some of my favorite moments in the game. Before we continue, I have to say that I didn't actually record a lot of these scenes myself. I kind of got these off the internet. None of these videos are mine. So first up, we have the battle against Ozil, the Overlord of the Vortex. Now, I actually played through this scene on a mobile device, and at the time I felt Genshin Impact was a mobile game, but I wasn't really expecting much graphics-wise, so this part was blowing me away. Like, look how they rendered the waves and everything. And then seeing that monster underwater, and we never really saw Ozil's physical form.
Let's see. Will the nation that has lost its deity be swallowed up by an ancient
Yeah, so this was after defeating Child.
If you wish to drown together with the people of Liyue, you're free to stay.
I had a
and
tough time
enjoy
in
the
that battle,
show.
actually.
Huh? He's already gone. That guy is fast.
Now here, we see the Jade Chamber flying overhead. The whole time prior to this point in the game, the Jade Chamber was in this static point in the sky, and it flying overhead kind of blew me away too. Again, the graphics of the Jade Chamber coming in that shot earlier was kind of jittery, and I felt at the time that Genshin Impact was a mobile game, so I wasn't I didn't mind it so much. Here we have the Overlord of the Vortex looking really menacing from afar, and having a tiny character like Paimon in the foreground. I don't know, somehow it worked. It really gave the whole thing a sense of scale.
What are you doing here?
Huh? Hold on. It's the Adepti.
Now prior to this, we had like several weeks or days of meeting all of these Adepti one at a time, and doing all these puzzles and doing stuff for them, and then finally seeing all of them in one spot, including the leaders of Liyue, like Ningguang. Ningguang has such a nice air of elegance to her. She's the calmest one. She's the calmest of all the characters in this scene.
The Overlord of the Vortex guy puts a pin in Paimon's tummy, even from all the way out here.
It's not just you.
Keqing is one of those characters that I wish they would develop more, but I do like this weird juxtaposition that she has, because she's designed really cute, you know, but she always had this air of authority with her. To my knowledge, she has an equal authority. She has an equal authority with Ningguang.
So will the power of the Qixing,
I'm not entirely sure about that, but that's what I got out of it. They're equals in the leadership
We've
of Liyue.
already discussed this together, and our conclusion is not necessarily.
What? But all of you are supposed to be the guardians of Liyue. Can't you think of something?
One certainly could.
Huh?
The Qixing did once research the matter of the Guizhong Ballista when it piqued their fancy.
So
And as
we have
fate
the
would have
Guizhong
it,
Ballista.
One who did craft the Guizhong Ballista with one's own hands is here.
We did a whole
For
thing
what
with
could you
Zhongli and trying to
mortals
repair
ever
it.
learn of Adepti
So at this point, I'm like, that thing,
So you
that
take one
ballista that
little
was kind
tinker
of broken
to turn
down,
this ballista
that is going to defeat
into an engine
this
of war beyond your
giant
wildest thought.
this giant god,
I
basically.
suppose this is one blessing from the Adepti that we should be thankful for. So be it. We shall use the upgraded Guizhong Ballista to fight off that god.
I love
All
Ningguang's
the
design.
Adepti
I
here
love
can
it.
lend their strength
It's
to
so
manage.
elegant.
We
It
haven't
really
a
gives her
moment to
that air of
spare.
authority.
Our battle begins now. Yep.
Now, this is funny because Ningguang's a 4-star character. She's not one of the strongest characters in the game, but here she does a whole lot more than any of the 5-star characters in this scene. Like Ganyu is over there and Keqing. Now, in one of our episodes of our podcast, the Teyvat Travelcast, we actually kind of remarked that the Jade Chamber was Ningguang's 5th star. And that might be true. Maybe she did get some power off it. Oh, I like this scene. I like the Guizhong Ballistas actually attacking Ozil. Finally, the Fatui show up.
They're attacking the Guizhong
They reveal their involvement face to face. Oh, I like that scene of catching, like jumping into action. I think she's really underrated. And she gets a lot of undeserved hate too from the Genshin community.
The interlopers are no more. Now we may commit ourselves fully.
The voice work in this game is fantastic. My one complaint, my one nitpick would probably be Ajdaha. I wish his English voice was better. But I didn't mind it, nevertheless.
It's working! We just need to keep this up!
Oh, at that point I actually thought we won already, but you know, there's still stuff going on. See, at no point in the game before this or since did we have a scene of this grand scale, this epicness. Probably the closest was that one meteor event in like update 1.1. Oh, there go all the Millilith. This is my one concern of this scene. They only rescued like 1 or 2 Millilith. What happened to all the others? I'm gonna assume that they were so fast that they were able to be rescued.
Without its covering fire, retaliation shall be difficult.
But the Jade Chamber is our last line of defense. We can't give another inch, no matter what.
I have another idea.
What do you mean, Lady Ningguang?
I'll sacrifice the Jade Chamber.
What is the
And
meaning
I was
of
like,
this?
what? Isn't that a permanent thing in this game?
I understand.
Traveler, lend me a hand. Farewell, old friend.
Once again, the Traveler gets the whole
Goodbye for
Genki-dama, the whole
Let us meet
power
again
of
in the
friendship.
future.
But not once again. I think in the game this is the first instance of that happening. Oh, that's cool. Wow. That was a nuclear blast, man. That explosion should have damaged Liyue too. But it didn't. And everyone got rescued. I'm gonna assume that all the Millilith were rescued as well. Next, I'm gonna talk about We Will Be Reunited. Now, prior to this moment, I was feeling that the game was going to be, you know, as we go through each of the nations, we'll encounter that nation's specific crisis, and then we'll have to deal with that, and we'll get little bits of the overall problem of finding your sibling. We'd get little clues here and there, but we wouldn't actually face our sibling until much later in the game, maybe toward the end. So this really caught me by surprise, and I absolutely loved it. This is one of my favorite moments of the game. It's really scaled down compared to what we just experienced, but this is the moment in the game that I felt that the story is something to really pay attention to, because this being a video game, I felt like it would be like Super Mario Brothers, where you'd get to the castle and then someone would say, oh, the princess is in another castle, then you have to go to another castle and so on until you finally finish the game. So I felt that the storytelling of the game would be structured that way. So prior to this point, I felt, you know, the game is fun. I really enjoy the game. I enjoy the battle system. I enjoy the gameplay. But the story was something that, you know, I was marginally interested in until this. So once this happened, I was in. I was in for the long haul. I was in for the long run. I felt that the story writers had to be taken seriously now. From this point on, I was ready. Whatever MiHoYo would throw my way, I was ready for it. This was the point in the game that I became a fan. This is a cool fight scene. And we haven't really seen Ether fight. Oh. So we had a brief flash. And there she is. Lumine. Once again, they never keep those eyes static, and I really appreciate that. We've seen Lumine prior to this scene, and her that revealed her involvement with the Abyss.
Ether.
Oh, listen to that music.
Wait! She just blocked an attack against the Abyss Herald! Your sister?
Can you imagine what Ether is going through at this point? He's been fighting the
Ether,
Abyss this whole time,
Why are you with Dane?
and now he's finally face to face with his sister.
Huh?
And she's talking about all this, like, you know, they haven't been apart for so long.
Your sister knows Dane?
Look at that pain in his eyes.
Lumine, we meet again.
What's going on here? Dane knows her too?
You shouldn't team up with this man. He is my enemy.
Lumine.
But it must be said. Don't try to stop me. Don't try to stop the Abyss.
I love how cold
That man,
Lumine comes
Dane's
off
was the
as...
Twilight Sword, one of the royal guards of the final dynasty of
It's
Conrad.
clear that, you know, she's been apart from
500
her
years
brother
ago,
for so
he
long, and
failed
yet
to prevent the destruction of Conria. A curse of immortality was laid upon him to forever wander the wilderness.
kind of
While
reveals
he
just how
watched
much
the
she had
people
been
he
through
was
prior to
supposed
this.
protect turn into monsters of the abyss.
You're saying Dane is from Conria? The same Conria that was destroyed 500 years ago? And you said the people turned into monsters?
Honestly, at
You're
this point,
trying
I
to
didn't
tell
really
Paimon
care
that
about
the
this whole
Abyss Order
Conria
is
thing.
Not only related to Conria, but
My
it's
sibling, my
actually the
long-lost
people of
sibling is in
Conria
front of me. I don't
themselves?
care about all this. Can they, like, hug or something? So I totally felt Ether at this point. I don't care about all this. I want to be together. I want to be reunited with my sibling.
Home. Yes. Of course. Home is wherever we are together. But I cannot go with you to the next world to find a new home. At least, not yet. Until the Abyss has engulfed the thrones, my war with destiny will see no end. Listen to me, Ether. I have already traveled through this world once. Once you reach the end of your journey as I did, you will see for yourself the true nature of this world.
I love this. I love that foreshadowing of the many years of gameplay that we have ahead.
So we'll meet again. Though we need not rush, brother. I have more than enough time to wait for you.
This music is beautiful. Look at that. Look at the pain. Look at the pain in Ether's eyes. Oh, I love it.
We have always had enough time.
That was brilliant. Oh, this is at this point I'm like, yes. I'm in this game. I'm ready for it. Now, this was a trailer that actually came out almost around a year before that moment. And that blew me away. I never saw this trailer
Do not
before.
belong in this world.
So I was so blown away by that moment, I had to look for more, and I came across this trailer that came out almost a year before that moment in the game, and I was like, wow, they really
One
planned this
day,
out.
This journey will reach its end.
Oh, wow. So that heart-wrenching music, they had actually composed that and recorded it a year before it came out in the game. And that little moment
But
too,
until the Abyss
that had
has
some
engulfed
importance
the
in the
thrones,
game
My
earlier.
war with destiny will see no end.
Wow, I'm like speechless because
Our plan to weaponize the dragon has been impeded.
so at this point I wasn't so
I'm the animal,
surprised.
Archon.
about
He rises
about
again
Lumine
for the
talking
dragon's
to
sake.
an Abyss Mage, because it did happen in the game already.
We were well prepared for his interference. Regrettably, Your Highness, the issue is...
But again, I always felt that we would never really encounter our sibling until
Outlanders,
maybe toward the end of the game.
your journey ends here.
Oh, this is the intro of the game, actually. So I'm actually glad I saw this trailer after the whole "We Will Be Reunited" Archon quest,
We will be reunited, dear brother.
because it actually landed so much
here.
harder.
Not now. We will meet at this journey's end. Once the dust has settled,
So I love it. I love these little
Then-
personal moments.
you will understand.
Yeah, "We Will Be Reunited" really elevated the game for me. Look at that. It's a trailer for the game. No one knew what all that meant at the time. It blows me away. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is pretty much everything Raiden Shogun. And there's a little asterisk there, because as I was going through everything Raiden Shogun, the Raiden Shogun had become my favorite character. But there's this little moment where she got overshadowed by another character, and that character had become my favorite character in the game. But anyway, let's get down to it.
Paimon thinks that we should...
So this is actually our first encounter, I think, with anything Raiden Shogun. There might have been one or two moments before this, but
neighbors Liyue by sea, Inazuma is presently closed.
yes, Zhongli is pretty much telling us
Archon Ball.
what's up with the Raiden
Just
Shogun
as
and
people of
Inazuma.
Liyue preferred to call me Rex Lapis. She too goes by another name among locals in Inazuma.
Paimon thinks we've heard that one before. Raiden?
That is the case. And since Raiden is also the shogun of the Inazuma Bakufu, people call her the Raiden Shogun.
That said, though people at the wharf were saying that the situation in Inazuma is very tense, Paimon doesn't remember that always being the case. It wasn't that bad last year. Zhongli, since you're Rex Lapis, shouldn't you know something about what's happening there? Just how did Inazuma become a closed nation?
It's because of visions.
Visions?
So actually,
When
Zhongli,
faced with
now that I'm watching
circumstances
this, he's actually
beyond their
giving away a
control,
lot about
humans
Inazuma.
often bemoan
This was
the
months
lack of
months
power.
before we actually
But if a person
got to
shows
step
true strength
onto
of will
Inazuma.
at a desperate and fateful moment in their life, the gods will look upon them with favor. This is what visions are. Magical foci bestowed upon those who have been acknowledged by the gods.
Uh-huh. That's how people in Tibet see it.
But starting from last year, the Raiden Shogun began promulgating the Vision Hunt Decree.
Vision Hunt Decree?
This is the first mention
Yes.
of the Vision Hunt
It was
Decree
an
as well.
order to seize all visions within Inazuma's borders, and to inlay them upon the hands of a statue of the thousand-armed, hundred-eyed god.
I don't get that name, even to this
They
day,
want
the
to seize
thousand-armed,
vision.
hundred-eyed god.
But why?
Maybe the
Aren't
hundred-eyed
visions
I do
blessings
get,
from the
maybe
gods?
those are the visions.
I should think that in the Raiden Shogun's eyes, it is precisely because they are divine blessings that they should be under the sole dominion of divinity.
Whoa, that's harsh.
The Animo Archon
At the point
is
in the
god
game
of
now,
freedom,
we now
and
know
the
that
Geo Archon is the god of
Zhongli's
contracts.
thoughts
For her
are
part,
wrong.
The Raiden
The Raiden
Shogun is
Shogun
the god
does-
of eternity.
Doesn't see visions
It
that way.
seems as though she has finally decided to eliminate any unstable elements that could pose a threat to her eternal realm. The fact that even I, the oldest of the seven, have now passed away, will only strengthen her resolve to pursue eternity. Knowing her, she must have again quoted that adage she is most fond of when proclaiming that decree to her people. 7 ideals for 7 gods, and of these, eternity is nearest unto heaven.
I see. So you are
Next,
also
we had that whole
unable to
Archon quest
rekindle
with
the
Beidou
vision.
and Kazuha.
No matter. This was expected. I suppose this vision is still mine to
I
take
actually
for
didn't
now.
think so much about this whole thing with the Masterless Vision.
Yeah, what's the story behind this vision anyway?
The story begins with an old friend.
I love this scene.
He was once a good friend of mine. One day he asked me about a sword art of which he had heard, the Musono Hitotachi. I told him it can only be witnessed when
I like
divine
how they were
punishment is
building up
administered.
the Raiden Shogun before you
It
even
is
saw
the
her.
pinnacle
They were
of the
building her
Raiden
up.
Shogun's skill,
She was a
symbol
god
of ultimate
and
power.
adored in the nation, even though she was doing the whole
But he
Vision Hunt
replied,
decree and everything.
There must be one who can withstand it. There will always be those who dare to brave the lightning's glow.
Important line there.
Then, the Vision Hunt decree arrived. People's aspirations were stripped away as the Raiden Shogun began
They were also
to
building up
construct
the
her
Musono
ideal of
Hitotachi.
eternity.
Like it's this rare thing
While
to
I was
see,
fleeing from place to place,
because it's
I
only
heard that my friend
unveiled
had
when
challenged
when the
the
Raiden
Vision
Shogun would
Hunters to a
deal
duel
divine
before the
punishment.
throne. A solemn yet brutal challenge. The defeated face divine punishment, while the victors gain a second chance.
And his friend went for it.
Perhaps
he
he
really
thought he
wanted
of all
to
people
see
should make a stand.
the Musono Hitotachi.
Coming face to face with the Musono Hitotachi was all that he truly desired, after all. When I arrived at Tenshukaku, the duel was over. I heard his sentence of divine punishment, his severed blade hitting the ground. Perhaps that was the glory he had yearned to witness.
Again, I don't feel too bad about this guy because this is what he wanted. This
In
was
his
his
last
dream.
moments,
But again,
the
you know,
expression was
he was
on his
Kazuha's
face.
friend. Kazuha was crushed.
before I knew it, I had stepped forward and snatched the dying vision and was running from the scene. All I knew was that I mustn't let his hope, which burned so brightly, become buried among the ice-cold statue of a god.
Aww. Oh, I love this. So we had seen the Raiden Shogun in that form, you know, that animated form. I wasn't expecting to finally see her here. Again, she had this presence, man. She commanded respect. Like, what are you doing? I like that they showed that she showed some interest in the traveler.
Capable of
Oh,
using
man.
elemental energy without a vision. You are an exception, it
Shout out to
appears.
Ann Yatko. Your voice work for the Raiden Shogun was
Exceptions.
perfect.
The enemy of eternity.
And now this sword art, the Musono Hitotachi that we had been hearing from Kazuha. Here it is, like, oh my gosh, is she going to kill us? She was only supposed to whip that out when, you know, for divine punishment.
You will be inlaid upon this statue.
Oh man, so yeah, she was so badass. At that point, okay, this is my favorite character. Like, what the heck is going on here? Like, where did she take us? What is this? What's going on? Oh, I was so blown away by what I was witnessing. So I feel like everything that just happened, and what we now know as the plane of euthymia, happened in a sliver of time. Like, to everyone in this world, it all happened in the blink of an eye. And I was like, is she gonna kill Paimon? Is she gonna kill us? Are they gonna be that bold? But then, yeah, Toma, good job, man, saved us, but nah. Raiden Shogun was unfazed. Like, they really portrayed her like, this is a god. She was not giving up her divinity. She was in her full power. And there was nothing we could do to face that.
Shogun, who was that?
Seize him under the decree. Next time, I will strike twice.
I like that line too. So now let's move on to this. So I was super curious, like, what's the deal with the Raiden Shogun? And then they released this trailer that showed, like, man, because she was adored. People in Inazuma love the Raiden Shogun, even if they don't agree with the whole Vision Hut decree or the Sakura decree. So now they're showing, like, okay, she's gone through stuff. She's lost stuff. She's lost friends. And looking back, yeah, this was super significant. Makoto was her name, wasn't it? I was like, yeah, this is my favorite character. There's no character that they unveiled before this like her. So we kind of got to see everything from her point of view. Like this whole scene that we just experienced.
Toma! Paimon! What is this place?
That was a trailer. And next, we're going to have what is my favorite trailer in the whole game. And it's the Raiden Shogun's trailer. Because, man, this was brilliantly directed, brilliantly shot.
In the land of the Narukami,
if you can call it shooting.
Centuries pass without change.
Oh, the musical
Deep in
direction's
the heart of the
fantastic
city
too.
stands the lofty abode of the Raiden
This whole
Shogun.
build up.
She looks down upon
And then
her
we have
realm,
this sweeping like
with
drone
mortal joys
shot.
and wonders,
Oh.
and sees a world
And this kind of
mired in
revealed to me, at
impermanence.
least, that the whole kind of like
By
Sakura
might and lightning, she rules
inspired
over the
theme was her
transients.
leitmotif.
Trivial yearning and petty passion, they vanish like a mist.
Mihoyo
The
knew they had a
Shogun
winner of a
pursues,
character here because they
unfettered
went
and
all out for her,
unperturbed
man.
eternity.
Oh.
Only through
The whole
eternity
electricity
are
there
you
kind of
closest
reminded
to
me of the
heavenly
Thundercats
principles.
opening with Lionel and his sword. I like when they do these little quick shots of her.
Lightning is eternal.
I would see it in anime,
The world
like
is but
with
shadow.
Macross, when they're portraying their idols. And it's fitting for the Raiden Shogun, because she is an idol. People adore her in Inazuma. Now there's this whole
Fantasy
theme
can
of
only survive
duality
an underlying reality.
that in hindsight, after experiencing everything Raiden Shogun,
reality
was super
is the
significant.
stillness buried deep beneath the illusion.
But man, they should just showed her
This
as this
is
really
eternity.
badass epic character.
Torn to oblivion.
Pretty soon we're going to have more of those idol shots that I really thought were appropriate for her. Again, that whole duality thing. Oh, there we go. This in particular, I was like thinking, it's kind of like, Sharon Apple or Cheryl Nome in Macross. They were showing these idol shots, and it was fitting for me. I spent money for Raiden Shogun. After this, I'm like, yes, I need this character. They know how to sell. Mihoyo knows what they're doing,
Waking
man.
world, you seem woven from the stuff of dreams. All shall fade away.
I like that they ended it with a haiku, and that was actually that shows they're not messing around with the writing. That was a significant haiku too.
The way people
La
charge
Señora.
in here as they please. So uncivilized.
Again, La Señora was a
If I
character
didn't know
I felt,
this was
she would be the
Tenshikaku,
villain
I might have
that
mistaken
would show
it
up
for
every
some
now and
kind of
then
street market.
for the whole game. Like here, this is our first encounter with her. And it revealed her purpose. Like she was the villain that was supposed to steal all the gnosis from all of the Archons in one way or another. Now, in hindsight, she seemed particularly cruel to Venti.
In the flesh.
So I felt that there was some history there. She hated Venti.
Mondstadt calls this a god?
Resident rodent beats invasive vermin.
Don't you dare speak back to me.
And I love her design.
Insolent bard.
One of my favorite designs in the whole game.
Absentee Archon of Mondstadt. How impotent you've become.
That smirk you wear looks out of place. Did you steal it from your master's face?
Should have held your tongue.
That move she does to take a Gnosis from an Archon,
This is a Gnosis. Wouldn't be caught dead wearing this ugly thing in public.
it actually becomes significant later on.
Waste when the beholder has no taste.
Man, she really looked down on Venti. She hates the guy. One of the few moments we actually heard Aether's voice.
Here for. Come, before
So
our
again,
dear
I felt
Favonian
like
friends
La Signora
arrive.
would be a
Leave
recurring
nothing for them
character
to
throughout
find.
the game. Like she would be, you know, taking or stealing the Gnosis from all the Archons.
It's you two.
And this is
I
when
believe we've met once
she was
before.
given the
In the City
Gnosis
of Bards, was it?
by
I'm
Zhongli.
glad you still remember my name. Ah, right.
There was a big step
I
up in
imagine that it
graphics
must have
quality
been
as well.
rather
That
hard to forget
if
what
you look
you
at her
helplessly
catalyst, that little
as
thing
something
that
precious
in the
was
middle
snatched
that's
away from
spinning,
your
that wasn't
friend.
spinning earlier.
You remember the agreement, Morax. Now, if you would be so kind. The Gnosis, please.
The contract is fulfilled. That which thou seeketh is now bestowed unto thee.
That I believe
For
at this
my
point they kind of
promise
revealed
is
that
solid as
the
stone.
whole plan of the Fatui, they were going to use all these Gnosis to kind of make a Mecha Godzilla Ozil or something like that.
How sanctimonious. Well then, with the Gnosis in my possession, I have
Again,
no
La Signora
use
was a
for
character
such
that
idle
you
chatter.
liked. You liked her as a
We should
villain.
return to Zapolyarny
She was
Palace
so
and seek an
arrogant.
audience
She was
with
so
Her
full of
Majesty.
herself.
This
She was like a really
Come, child.
delicious character in a way
Do
because
as you
man,
wish.
she played being evil so well.
Have you learned your lesson now?
We're back in Tenshukaku now.
Oh no! What has she done to Kujusara?
The right to punish Inazumans for their crimes is mine alone, not yours,
I like this. I
Signora.
like that they're
Then I
showing that La
apologize,
Signora is overstepping her
Almighty
bounds.
Shogun. I'm
That
not
shows just
sure
how
you realize quite how much
she views the
distance
Archons.
there is
Like
between
she sees
us,
them as beneath
both
her.
in status and in strength.
Particularly the Traveler, who's not an
I
Archon, of
challenge
course.
you
Oh,
to
we
a
get to
duel
hear
before the throne.
Ether again. Shout out Zach
Proceed.
Aguilar. I love your work in the
You're
game.
full of surprises today. So you've learned to make the law
Again,
of the land work for you.
I love it.
too.
She feels so much,
I'll admit
you
that
know,
I never
so
expected
powerful.
to
Like
be in a
everyone's
situation
beneath her,
where the
including
two
the
of us were on
Archons.
equal footing. You are aware that the loser must die. Are you sure this is what you want? Then I will deign to share this last dance with you. Till death do us part!
So we finally defeat La Signora. I thought maybe she'll escape or something, you know?
But
How these villains usually are in like cartoons or movies or, you know. So here we kind of get the feeling, oh, the Raiden Shogun, she doesn't like us. She's gonna take us out. She's already taken out her sword, ready to use the Musou no Hitotachi, but then she walks by. The direction's great. And then it's starting to sink in. What?
You know what happens if you lay a
And
finger
there,
on
she's
me.
still being so arrogant.
If you
What? You
strike
can't
me,
touch
I will
me.
make sure.
But as the Raiden Shogun gets closer and closer, the electricity is starting to show up. Her power is building up, and La Signora is starting to get it. Oh my gosh, she's starting to get desperate. She's barking orders at the Archon in her nation, and she does that move. She tries to get the Gnosis. But, oh my gosh. So this scene does so much. It shows how powerful the Raiden Shogun is. The Musou no
You
Hitotachi.
are
It's
the enemy
there's
of
no way to
eternity.
defend against it. And
But
of course,
as the
oh my
victor, I
gosh,
acknowledge your
La
honor.
Senora is gone. I thought this was going to be a recurring character.
Therefore,
And again, the game
shall
just
allow you to
surprises
leave
me.
Tenshukaku
The
alive.
writing is fantastic. And probably my favorite scene in the whole game. So far, at least. So, you know, a nice little reunion. I don't know why Kazuha and Goro were there. And oh my gosh! Are they gonna kill the main character? Like, there's no way to defend against it. And then the Masterless Samurai, the Masterless Vision
There will always be those who dare to brave
activates.
the lightning.
Oh my gosh! So much was happening in this one moment. So much story. I love it. And there we go. Oh my gosh, Kazuha is defending against the Musou no Hitotachi. And being successful at it. Then we have this one short moment where she is surprised. Like, what just happened? Even Kazuha is like, what just happened? Oh, there's so much going on. I love it. I love this moment. Then, yeah, this isn't a good idea, guys. But then we have this, again, the whole power friendship, but I don't care. I love it. I'm a cheesy guy. I love this stuff. But even with that, they don't stand a chance. It's the Raiden Shogun. And this was the plan all along. Aether had to end up in the plane of Euphymia again.
So we meet again.
There's a switch, a really subtle switch in how Ann Yato portrays the Raiden Shogun there when she is A. At this point, things are going a little bit better. You didn't get knocked out. But this is the crucial
Dear
part.
me, aren't you cutting it rather close?
Miko, this was your doing?
Look at that. Suddenly, some emotion from the Raiden Shogun.
Now.
Or A, to be
Don't
more
forget
precise.
who taught you how to place your consciousness in objects.
Anyway,
Surely you
earlier,
don't think your ambition
Kazuha
alone
became my
is
favorite
enough to
character
shake
because of what
A's
he
will,
was able to
do you?
accomplish.
Though you alone are here, they too have ambitions, which they long since entrusted to you. Now then,
The build-up of this
close
music
your
is
eyes.
fantastic. I love it. And then this, another Genki-dama moment. Oh, the musical direction is great, man. It's way too good for a mobile game. At this point, I no longer consider this game, Genshin Impact, to be a mobile game.
I hope we can abolish the Vision Hunt Decree.
When lightning flashes, it casts a shadow. My name means shadow.
So here we're
With
getting
my
more
blade,
clues about
I've purged all
the Raiden
obstacles
Shogun's
to
past,
progress.
who A is, and what she had gone through to become the kind of person
And yet,
that she had become.
Something was lost with each step forward.
You really have to dig deep into the lore to
In the
find
end,
out what's going on here.
I even lost her. The
But this-
tales are still retold in the shade
Losing
of
her,
every
like, who is
Thunder
that?
Sakura.
We now know it's
But the
it's
wounds
Ball,
left on our nation by that terrible loss still ache.
and that the whole Raiden Shogun, or
Never
A,
stop
that we had
searching,
been experiencing in the
even if
game was
only
actually
for a brief
Beelzebul.
flash of light. If nothing else, we have the present moment. She said that once. But I've seen a nation strike forward and lose everything to the heavenly principles.
So she was there.
Perhaps
The
only if
cataclysm,
time stands
I
still,
think is what it's
will the
called.
lightning's glow never fade.
And that's
The
where
present moment
Makoto
is a fragile
or
illusion.
All died.
Only eternity can bring us closer to the heavenly principles.
But the Vision Hunt decree
I am
and
no
maybe the
longer
Sakuko
the shadow.
decree didn't happen until maybe a year
Mine is
prior
the
to
most
the start of the
supreme and
game.
noble form. Let
And that was all the
power over the realm
Patui's
be
doing,
vested
apparently.
within
But the
me.
whole concept of
In
Inazuma
this form
striving
shall
for
I honor
eternity,
my subjects' dream,
that happened
for a land of
hundreds of years
eternity,
prior to the start of the game.
unchanging forevermore. Anyway, now that I have been defeated by you and your plan, I will honor your wish to abolish the Vision
So
Hunt
here,
decree.
yay, we win.
But
We've convinced the Raiden
with
Shogun
regards
to abolish the
eternity and the
Vision Hunt
question
decree.
of whether this nation should move forward, I need time to give it some thought.
As promised.
So we do find out that the Raiden Shogun here in this, what we're seeing here, is actually a puppet, and A is actually within the sword.
Beyond the plane of Euthymia, she saw what eternity means in the eyes of the world. When one's fervent ambition burns brightly, the gods will cast their gaze upon you.
I like her. I like Yae Miko as a character. I don't know if she's ever going to be playable or anything, but I like her.
Some ambitions
These are the three guys who
have the power to heal wounds,
whose visions were taken from
to
them.
bring victory.
Hey, Thama gets to finally go out of the tea house. Oh, but it's heart-wrenching. At this point, Kazuha was already my favorite character.
Masters, long after the soul ascends.
But that was the grave of his friend.
They remain as they were in the beginning.
And he had left his vision with his friend,
Right and true.
knowing that he had been successful. Actually, Kazuha, I don't know, he no longer has any more story going forward. Because he's done
I've
it.
seen a
He did
lot,
everything.
and
Now,
it's
during
made me
the
think a
Raiden
lot.
Shogun story quest,
I
I
really
did
can't praise it
appreciate
highly
this scene.
enough. I hope I will remember it for a long time.
Because this is
to
A.
come.
This isn't the Raiden Shogun. This is A. He actually went out of the plane of Euthymia and experienced Inazuma in the present day. And now,
Take a
I really
photo?
like this. It's a nice little character
again,
moment. They were going to take a
I'm
photo
faced
of
with
her.
a combination of words that makes absolutely no sense to me.
It's okay. Come with us. We'll find a scenic spot and show you what we mean.
So, what are we supposed to be doing?
We're taking a photo
So again,
of you.
everything.
Just leave
Since
the
she's
hard
been
work to
in
us.
the plane of
All you
Euthymia
need
for
to
like
do is
hundreds of
stand
years, I
over
think,
there and strike a pose.
she
Basically,
doesn't know what a photo
makes
is.
a visual record of you at this very moment in time, so it makes a great souvenir.
Okay, so what exactly is striking a pose? Ah, I see. So in other words, I need to do some sort of visually agreeable action in front of you, right? The more I think about it, the more embarrassing it seems. How should I pose? Help me out here. It should look good, but not too over the top. This isn't coming naturally to me at all.
It's a wrap! Take a look! Here's the photo we took of you.
Wow. This is astonishing.
I love this. I love her reaction to
Is
the
it
photo.
some kind of magic? It seems to be another copy of me.
Now, there are cultures in the world that do not allow you to take a photo of them precisely because of this reason. And I love it. I love that there is that little reference to it. She cannot fathom it. She cannot understand how it is possible to have that visual representation of a photo of her. And it blew her mind, and I love it. I love this reaction. It's like, is this another copy of me? And this is from the person who actually made another copy of herself.
But she doesn't seem to be able to move or talk. I thought it would turn out poorly because I felt rather rigid, but it actually looks more natural than I imagined. The pose is exactly the same, and so is the scenery in the background. I can't imagine how it's achieved.
I kind of wonder, back in the day when photography was first invented, like how you know, to the common person to see that happening, how a photo is produced. I wonder how it blew their mind. It was probably a lot like this. Like, how is this possible? You know? And I just love it.
That's what makes it so special!
Hang on. I'm still struggling to understand this. I need you to explain it again. So, the one in this photo, are you sure it isn't me? If it's not me, then why does she look exactly like me? And if she is me, then who am I?
I absolutely love that line. She went through a whole existential crisis seeing a photo of herself. It's like, is that me? And if that is me, who am I? And this is from the person that made the Raiden Shogun, made the puppet, and made a copy of herself. And in the past, actually had a twin sister and all that. And, you know, it's just all these things running through her mind. It makes her such a wonderful character. I love it. I love the Raiden Shogun. Not my favorite character. That goes to Kazuha. But she's definitely number 2. She's amazing. I love this character. Can't wait to experience more of her story.
Okay, that's way above Paimon's head. Over to you, Traveler. Hey, that's right! Do you think the Shogun counts as you?
Of course I do. It was never my intention to place control of Inazuma into anybody else's hands.
So then...
So I like that they had to find a way to explain the photo
Well, I'm still
in a
me.
manner that she
There is
understands,
no
because
doubt
she
about
did
that.
create the puppet. She did create the Raiden Shogun.
My existence. I think I understand. I am me. There is only one of me.
It's something
But
we
I can
do
exist
as
in
scientists
many
as well.
different
We kind of
forms.
have to explain
It's
stuff to
not
people who don't
important
understand.
What form I exist in.
We have to find a way
The Shogun, for
to
example,
explain stuff
is
in a
one of
manner
my
that they would
forms of
understand it.
existence. The question of whether or not she is me is not determined by any of her components.
In that case, this picture is one of your forms of existence too.
So even I, who seeks eternity, am constantly changing my form of existence. Then
How are there
how
philosophical
can I ask
concepts
Inazuma
this deep
and everyone who lives
in
here
this game?
to remain
It
unchanging?
blows me away.
Everything I have encountered
Genshin
on
Impact
this
is
journey
just
with you
too
has been
good,
from beyond
too good
my
to be
existing sphere of knowledge.
I don't know. I'm
You've
speechless.
seen a
I
lot
love
of my
this game.
ignorant side today. Maybe you can't tell, but all this has challenged my understanding of things. Based on what I have seen today, I am forced to accept that Inazuma is a completely different place from the one I remember. But it would be incorrect to conclude from this that the Inazuma of today is no longer
That's right.
Inazuma.
An evolution.
Both the Vision Hunt Decree and the statue of the omnipresent god were conceived as a means of bringing about eternity. But if I were really getting closer to eternity, none of this ever would have happened.
At least the eternity,
Perhaps.
the concept of eternity that she had.
Perhaps I've been holding on to everything too tightly.
Sounds to Paimon like Ace figured things out. And that means that we've done a really great job as her guides.
So those are my 3 favorite moments in Genshin Impact so far, and I can't wait for what MiHoYo has in store for us in the future. Thank you for listening to me. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again next time.